move to the other overlay. So let's chat about Halo real quick. So first things first, I finished the campaign and I'm playing it on Legendary right now. I haven't finished it on Legendary. We'll say you're still playing through the campaign.
Sure,
Is that
that's
that's fair to say?
kind of, but I played it like a couple of times and haven't played it in weeks, so
Sure. But you've played some of it. You've played
a
some
little bit,
piece of it.
a
You just
little
haven't
bit.
finished it. Okay. So multiplayer. You played a decent amount of multiplayer. Is that fair to say?
Hmm. Yes.
Okay. And you've played ranked. You've played various other modes.
Yep.
And as have I. So I think campaign we can obviously generally talk about, but you haven't really. It's a short story, but you haven't progressed it very far. And then we can talk multiplayer, obviously. But I think the big thing that for the campaign, the biggest change I think, generally speaking, from any other Halo is the open, right? But for the campaign that you've played, you got through like the very introductory sequence. Okay.
Yeah. Plus a little bit of the open world after that.
Correct. So far, you haven't played the last couple weeks, but like, what was your general perception of it from the get go up to where you're at now? Obviously, you haven't played in a couple weeks, so for whatever reason, you had a visitor for a week, and then you had maybe some other stuff you were looking at. Um, your general perception of the introductory sequence so far: good, bad, horrible, awesome.
I mean, other than because of my PC and not looking very good or running very well, um, the gameplay, like the combat, generally is very fun. The open world seems fun to explore and traverse. The little bit that I did, um, I like the little bit of the like Master Chief. I kind of like, at least at the beginning, Master Chief's like, I don't give a fuck mentality, where like the pilot guy is like, oh, we should get out of here and this and blah blah blah, and Master Chief's like, I need a weapon,
Yeah,
fly me here, I'll kill them and get out. Like, he Master Chief just seems so fed up with everyone's bullshit and like always having to do everything. It's like, okay.
mm.
um so I
it,
liked Chief there, and I hadn't seen too much of the AI yet, the weapon, but
yep,
I think the dynamic between her and Chief seems like it could be interesting because she's very like peppy
yep,
and go getter,
yep.
and he's like, yeah, he just doesn't give a shit. He's just
He,
like,
yeah, he's very disconnected.
yeah,
He is the best way to put it, I think, is he's just disconnected. He is like, I think this Halo in particular does the best job because 343's Halos have actually, you know what, to me at least, no Halo has really tried to give Master Chief a character profile in the way that every Halo, at least for me, makes him out to be quite literally. He like there's like, yeah, he's perfect. Can't do anything wrong. He's the best soldier, best at everything. Can't do anything wrong. You know, he's like completely uncompromised. He's like the Superman of this universe. And like, I'm not
hmm
even kidding when I say that. Up to this game, he's like he's just made out to be Superman. Can't be stopped. And like, even the enemies, they have like sequences where in previous games they talk about Master Chief and they're like, "Why do you call him this? Why do you call him Demon?" It's like, well, we're paying him a compliment as we're insulting him. It's like he's like this unstoppable force. Okay, he's an unstoppable force. So it's it, I think the beginning sequence does a good job of like making him seem disconnected. When you start getting the rest of the campaign, it's like he just like the guy who's the pilot. Even in the introduction sequence, is like, "Can we go home? I want to go home. Can we leave? I want to go home. I need to go home." And Chief's just like, "Nope, mission. You gotta do a mission. Nope, go here. Nope, take me here. Nope, take me here." Take me here."
Give me a gun.
And the guy's like, "I want to go home. I'm scared." And she's like, "Nope, nope, you're staying here. You have a mission. You're a soldier. Fuck off." Um, and the AI, the weapon, is like this bubbly personality who, in the beginning, you even saw this if you remember it, is like trusting of everything and everyone at first, right? Like, there's a sequence where they got to bring the elevator down so that they can go up, and she's like, "Oh, it could be a friend," and he's like, and she's like, "Nope, it's not."
Hmm.
And she's like, "But what if it is?" And he's like, "It never is."
It never
He
is.
says he's like, it never is, and it's just like, okay, and that's Chief right at that point. It's like it was funny too at the time. I was laughing. I
Yeah.
was like, okay,
No,
this is
I like Chief's like quippy one-liners like that one to some of the things that the weapon says.
yeah.
It's Chief's just like it never is though.
It
Like
never. It's not. He's like,
that's
it's
not how
never.
that's not how this works. Like, come
He's
on.
like, it's never a good. It's never an ally. It's always an enemy. And like, obviously, to some extent, he's right. Like, he's only been dealing with enemies for the longest time. So it's good. The beginning sequence is like actually a really good setup for like when you get further in. Um, I don't know how much spoiler is appropriate, but I will say this is the best character story in Halo besides like Reach. Reach was like a movie. Reach was kind of like a movie, but this is the best character story in a mainline Halo. We're counting one, two, three, four, five in this,
Yeah.
which is six. I guess.
The interesting thing about Reach is like if you knew anything about Halo lore going into that game, you knew how it was gonna
Yeah,
end.
you knew.
Like, but still, that final mission in Reach, like the last stand
Yep.
thing, God, that was epic. Like,
No, it was cool. Like
yeah.
Reach was a movie. Reach was Bungie's movie to and
Mhm.
send off to Halo. That was Bungie's like, okay, if we're gonna go from Halo and do other things, we're gonna do a movie, and that was what it was. It was great. Um, it was really great. So, but Bungie was always good at that kind of stuff. Bungie still is pretty good. They're still good with like story esque feel of like Destiny. For Bungie's good at that. 343, not really. In the previous games, they weren't really good at that. But somebody like at 343 or Microsoft walked into the meeting room and said, "You know what, guys, you're not doing it right." So we hired three writers, and we're gonna have them do it. Okay, we
But
hired these.
we only contract them for
We're
18
only gonna
months.
contract them. So we
So,
decided to contract three ex Bungie writers to come in for something. Three people who like knew the story and knew like from day one. They must have done that or something. This is the best character story. There are only three main characters in this game besides the villains. Let's take the villains. There are three main characters in this game. Okay, and they all have character development and they all have growth, and it's really good for me at least. It's very simple, but it's really good. So, um, and then the
I
final
mean,
thing
yeah,
I oh go ahead.
it's good to hear that the story and the characters are, obviously it's Halo, the gameplay's fun. Seems like they did a good job with the open world, etc., etc. But the thing, like, the campaign in 4 and 5, the gameplay was fine. Like, it
Absolutely
was
fine.
still Halo, it was still fun. They were really linear as usual. They were short. Halo 5 had the repeat boss issue that
Yep.
we hated. Um, but generally the gameplay was good.
Yep.
The failing points of Halo 4 and especially Halo 5 were the story,
Yep.
and they were just dumpster fire basically. It's just like,
Yeah.
and especially with the marketing material of 5 led to humongous disappointment with the story of that
Ugh.
game. Like, I mean, it
That.
was a great marketing campaign to like sell
Yeah.
copies,
That was the
but then you
best.
played the game and you were like, really?
Probably the best gaming marketing campaign we've seen is the Master Chief
Versus
Spartan
Locke.
Lock hunt. Probably the best marketing campaign you'll ever see in game history. Probably the best. And that's like obviously that was one of the like at the time that really pumped you up seeing that. So the last thing I was gonna say is there's two other things I wanted to say. First, I will just immediately say out front, I do not like how this is basically just a sequel bait at the end, like the hardest sequel bait possible. Yeah, that upset me. But the other thing I was gonna say is the thing that countered my frustration with that is this is the first time Master Chief has a weakness. Master Chief has a character flaw for the first time since Halo Combat Evolved came out. Master Chief has a character flaw. I'm not going to say what it is because I think you're probably going to guess it at this point. But he has a character flaw. And his character flaw when it happens and when you see it in action and when like this happens cuz even Tricord saw it. He was actually at the section when it happened. Pretty sure when I was streaming it. Master Chief looks kind of like an asshole. And you're like, "Oh, you're kind of an asshole, Chief. What are you doing? What are you doing?" So, it's like a really good moment. It's very good. It was like my favorite part discovering what he did and like just being like, "Wow, Master Chief, you're kind of an asshole. Why would you do that?" So, but
I mean,
it's
yeah.
it's part of his
uh,
it's the character flaw that gets built up to that.
Obviously, I haven't played it yet, so I don't know what it's gonna be. But the one thing I can say about Chief that like I can see as being a possible flaw is that like the mission was the only thing that mattered. Like he
Mm,
didn't care. He doesn't care about anything else. He's
mhm.
like, we have a mission. We have to complete the mission at all costs. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, and I don't know if that's what happens in this game, but that's what I can see being a possible issue. Like he just goes a little too far in terms of like sacrifices or what he's willing
Mm.
to do to complete the mission.
Yeah, I mean that
Like,
like that's a very good. It's like it's probably the best guess possible considering the beginning of the game. What you see, you're like, okay, he's so disconnected and he's just focused on getting this done. Of course, it could be revolting. It makes sense. I hope you do pick it up at some point and get to it. Even just get to that point, because it's not far. You're not far from it actually. If I'm being honest with you, it's not long. The main campaign is not that long, so
yeah,
you can get to it pretty
the
quick.
thing I'm struggling with the campaign that I mentioned is that it's like it just doesn't run well
Yeah,
on my computer,
yeah.
and I yeah, that's and I just like don't. It wasn't unplayable, but it just wasn't. I don't know, just wasn't great.
Does it like
Um,
stagger or something? I don't know.
it's just yeah, in the open world especially, it's just like just slow. It's just laggy.
Oh yeah,
Like
okay. Yeah, I'm wondering if you should just skip the open world stuff and just like maybe like try and pick up as much upgrades as possible and then just bum rush the story. Because the
yeah,
story is good. I mean, you're not on legendary, so it's not like you need those upgrades necessarily like desperately. But like you're on heroic, right? Heroic can be hard at the end. Heroic can be hard at the end. Um
but
so
like you know me, I like to explore. Like,
yeah, I know, and that's the tough
and
part is
I'm not gonna get everything I want to out of the game
sure,
if I'm not able to explore. Like
sure. It might be worth popping up the Xbox One and
maybe.
I don't know. But anyway, um but yeah, it's the best Halo campaign since 2 and it's the best one. I know it's not saying much to say that, but it's the best one. It's very good. And they sequel baited, so we know there's going to be a sequel to this at some point or a major DLC or something. Um my only hope is that they actually hire people and don't do contractors all the time so that we actually get a more complete because this game is about 75 to 80% done. There's a chunk of the game that you can just tell is not there. There's a whole
Yeah,
island that never gets used besides gauntleting the main story. And he's like, why isn't this used? Why aren't there icons here? What's going on?
yeah. I have a feeling, actually, now that I think about it, that that for whatever this sequel is gonna be, like it'll just be like DLC that you add on to Infinite.
I hope so.
Like,
That's what I'm
'cause
hoping for.
I think for at least for multiplayer, Infinite is just gonna be like the shell that they use for probably this entire generation, or at least I hope that's what they're
I
gonna
hope
do.
so.
Like,
I do hope so.
and they just have like seasons and like updates and stuff, and just keep expanding it and et cetera, et cetera.
Infinity to infinity. No, my hope is that any campaign that comes out is a DLC package that you plop on expansion. It's an expansion package that you plop on like Destiny does, and It adds the subsequent story that you can complete, and it adds some multiplayer stuff that you can unlock. Like you purchase it for like, if it's enough, $20 to $30 because it's added campaign story and some multiplayer stuff. Not required to buy, obviously, but it's an option, and you just go from there. That's what I hope it is. What I'm afraid it is if like 4 years, it's like 4 years from now we get something. It's like Halo Infinite
2. Halo
2,
Infinite 2.
and you're just like, fuck off, fuck off. No, don't do that. Um, that's what I'm hoping. It's the DLC or like expansion. It's like a full expansion. That's what I'm hoping it is. But the campaign is very good. If I think if anybody's on the fence about it, you should get it. It's very good. the The story is good. Um, the sequel bait is not, but the story is good. It's interesting. It's more interesting. Um, I think the last thing I wanted to mention too for the campaign, because we talked about this, the villain. Okay, so the villain is Esherim. You know that. You've seen him, I'm sure. I think we talked about one of the complaints with Esherim was he taunts you too much. He's like, I'm taunting you, I'm talking to you, I'm taunting to you, I'm talking to you. But I just want to be very clear for those of you that don't like Esherim. I think you should reconsider your thoughts on Esherim, because Esherim is just a soldier. Esherim is not a strategist. He's not a tactician. He is just a soldier. He just overpowers you. His strategy is, I'm going to overpower you. And his end goal is, I just want to fight Master Chief and it'll be awesome. And that's his character because he's a soldier. He was put into command because Atriox died. So they're like, well, we got to get the next person in. Let's get him in. And Esherim's plan is, I'm just going to keep going with this guy's plan. I don't have a plan beyond that. So it's kind of interesting in that he's a very simple villain in that he's just a soldier, and I don't know, like I like that about him. He's very simple. I like that about him. My phone ringing? I don't know. My phone might be ringing. I don't care. Um, but yeah, that's all I was gonna say about Ashram. I also like him because he's just simple. He's just so simple, and he's not Warden Eternal garbage. He's not like weird AI Cortana where you're just like, why is Cortana mean again? What happened? Oh, okay. Um, he just wants to fight you, dude. He just wants to punch you. He's just Master Chief, but the evil. That's it. Master Chief just wants to fight things and do the mission. Esherim just wants to fight Master Chief, and that's his mission. It's just like, it's very simple, but it works for me at least. Like, he doesn't. Your villain doesn't have to be clever. In this case, I think it works. I think it really works. So that was the other thing I was going to say about the campaign. So that's my thoughts. I actually like Esherim. I think he's the like, considering the lore of the situation they're in, he's perfect for this. So, um, but yeah, if anybody's on the fence about it,
Sure.
I would try it if you can actually run. It's
Yep.
enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. So and legendary's fun. It's tough. Legendary's hard. I forgot how tough Halo can be. I forgot Halo can be hard. Halo can be hard in a good way, but it can be hard, man. Those dropships, not fun. Banished dropships are not fun to deal with. They just kick your ass. So, anyway, um, any other campaign stuff, Spoon?
No. I always found like in Halo heroic to be the right difficulty. Legendary to me a lot of the time just feels like unfun and cheap, but I don't know how it is in this game.
It
Like
it's doable. It's doable. It's just,
it's always doable, but it depends just like how ridiculous it
but
is.
when a banished dropship comes onto the radar, I instantly run and hide. Instantly. Because they will just immediately kill you with their freaking turrets. They have like two gunners that man these gunner spots, and then a main gunner turret. And they just kill you.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, but yeah, sometimes I'm just like, God, this is so frustrating. It's good, like you figure it out. You figure it out eventually. So okay, I think we've talked about Halo multiplayer before, right?
A little bit.
Okay, let's gosh, is there anything specifically you want to talk about? So they added some multiplayer modes. We haven't talked about the new multiplayer
Yeah,
modes,
I
right?
I think mostly what I want to talk about is just kind of more give props to 343. They've been responding to feedback pretty quickly
Hmm.
and doing updates and improving things. They still have a lot of work to do. The client's still kind of a mess. People have
Yep.
issues with like matchmaking and ranked and
Big team's a
like
problem.
yeah, big team's a problem right now. People still aren't a fan of like the store and the monetization system
Yep.
and the way that like the rewards on the battle pass are really poor. We've talked about that,
Yep.
but you know, they generally, at least so far, have responded to feedback and addressed the feedback that they have been able to address. Obviously,
Yep.
they've been taking some time off, like for Thanksgiving, and now I think they've had like a 2 week break. I think they come back to work like in full next week.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I mean they've done a good job. Everyone seems to agree, as we've talked about before, that the the gunplay, the gameplay of Halo Infinite multiplayer is really solid.
Yep.
Um, it's fun to play. It's one of the best playing Halos in multiplayer since like Halo 3,
Yeah.
basically.
Yep.
Um,
I agree.
and yeah, they added. Originally, they said with the playlist, it was going to take them a long time to do that, and somehow they figured out how to just add what it was like 4 or 5 new like Slayer specific
Yep.
playlists: Free
Team
for All,
Slayer.
SWAT.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Team Slayer,
then
Free for All, SWAT, um,
and
and
Fiesta. They just
Fiesta.
added Fiesta. Just added
Yeah,
it. Fiesta's just in there now. So those new modes got added. They were added much faster than people thought they would be, given the comments that were made. So
and after multiple rounds and complaints about the way challenges work, they reworked the challenges again. I still don't think it's perfect, but it is better than it was previously and way way better than it was on the when the game originally
oh
came
yeah,
out.
it's way better.
Um, it is now reasonable if you play enough to complete all of your weekly challenges in a
Yeah.
week. Um, there's a lot more mode specific ones now, which is okay. I know some people still may not be a fan of that because they just want to play one specific mode that they like.
Yep.
People maybe don't like, we talked about this when we were playing before the stream. I had a free for all quest last week. I'm sure you had one too,
Yep.
and I do not enjoy free for all. I don't think
Nope.
it's fun.
No, free
It's
for all
just
sucks.
it's a clusterfuck. You just run in, hope you can ninja kills off people and die, and it's okay. Like,
Yeah, you're basically like, if can you third party the most,
yeah,
and that's how you play free for all. Is like, can you third party? And I
yep.
don't really do that well enough, I guess. So I am always at the bottom of free for all. I'm terrible. I just hate it because I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing a 1v1 and a third party or king. Um,
Yep.
I can never seem to win. You get second place, man. I can never do one.
Yeah, in the 4 or 5 games that I played, I got second place once, and I got fourth or fifth in every single other game. I don't think I ever got last, but I got fourth or fifth in
Yeah,
every single other game that I played.
yeah,
And I just like wasn't having. I was just getting frustrated and like angry when I was playing free for all because it just wasn't fun. I
yeah. It's
was like,
just
this
you're just like,
is stupid.
okay, I'm just getting my ass handed to me here, and I am always getting third party. So what are we doing here? No, I'm with you.
um, so yeah, I think some people still maybe don't like the idea of like requiring certain modes, and you can still get certain quests where like it's play oddball or stronghold or capture the flag, and you can just get unlucky and not get that mode, and you can play a lot of games and not get that mode. I this week I started with a quest for oddball, and it probably took me like between 5 and 10 games, probably more like 7 or 8 games in quick match to get an oddball game. So I was
Yeah,
like,
we got it
okay,
today. That took a
yeah,
while,
we got it today.
and you had
Um,
it at the beginning of the week.
yeah, I had that quest, And the beginning of the week was Tuesday. Resets are on Tuesday. It's only been 2 days, so.
Hmm.
But I've had 3 different play sessions, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and one today, and it took me that many to find an oddball game. So
Yeah, that's great.
that can be frustrating. Yeah, and there's some like weapon related quests that you just see and you're just like, no, I'm just gonna swap that out. That's
Yep,
bad.
like the
Like
Hydra. I don't know
the
why.
Hydra,
Game likes giving me
The
Hydra.
Ravager, the
Oh,
Pulse Carbine. Like the Pulse Carbine's okay for dropping shields sometimes, but like getting kills with it, hell no. That gun doesn't kill for shit.
that
Like
gun doesn't kill. It doesn't kill. It just drops shields really fast, which it
you
should.
know, I had a quest last week that was like 10 kills with the shock rifle, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot of kills with the shock rifle for
It's
me.
tough. It's tough. I just 15 kills with the ghost guns. Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, there's still some quests here and there that are like I think a little bit unreasonable in what they ask you to do, but you have challenge swaps, so you can just get rid of those and get another one. But
Yeah,
I would still like I'd still like to see a few more tweaks to the challenges, but it is way better than it was at the start and better than it was before after the first update. So
I agree. It's much better. I think I agree with all the addition of the extra multiplayer modes like SWAT and stuff is great. Tactical what was it called?
Tactical Slayer,
Yeah, Slayer is what it's called.
which
So
is it's SWAT. It's been called SWAT before, so we always call it
yeah,
SWAT, but
Tactical Slayer is
Tactical
like
Slayer.
my favorite mode to do practice. Just it's just nice to like practice aiming with that mode. Um, for me at least, because that's the only other mode you get a BR in standard.
Other than ranked, yeah.
Yep. So it's nice to like practice using the BR in that, even though you just like can die so fast. And but it's nice like okay, I'm using the BR. I'm going to practice a little bit with the BR, and then you jump in. Um, I hate free for all. I like that there's Team Slayer. It's really nice that there's Team Slayer. I still think there should be dedicated modes for Oddball and Capture the Flag for
And strongholds.
and Strongholds, but because like quick play, I think quick play is nice if you just don't care or you just like maybe like there's some dedicated quick play challenge or something like you just want to get any match or like you're trying to do something specific like for
Yeah.
something else. But like quick play, the problem with quick play is when you get the oddball quest, like you could just keep hitting Stronghold, Slayer, capture the flag, Stronghold, Slayer, capture the flag, Stronghold, Slayer, capture the flag, oddball. And you're like, well, shit, it took me 10 games to get there. There needs to be a little bit more of like either a dedicated non-Slayer modes list of like, okay, you can get oddball, capture the flag, and strongholds here, but not Slayer. Just
But
take
that's
that
still
out.
like that's still a 3 mode rotation. It's
It
still not
is.
great.
Or you just separate
Like
all of it out and you just remove something. Or like when you click on quick play, you're like, do you only want this mode? Or like which modes can you
yeah.
turn off getting? That would be nice. I don't think that's gonna happen, but that would be nice. That's my only complaint so far. The challenges are so much better. But there needs to be dedicated stronghold, oddball, and CTF modes. Because
Yeah.
I like CTF, for example. I actually like oddball. I kind of like oddball. I don't like strongholds. I
I'm
do not.
terrible. I'm terrible at
Oh,
strongholds. Like
I just don't
I
like it.
I I, I think the mode is fine. Like I actually like the adjustment they've done to it in Halo, where you don't score unless you capture have
Two.
two,
Yep.
because it allows for like big comeback. You could be down by a lot, but as long as you hold two, the other team can't win. Like
Right. You just have
they
to
can't
focus on two.
score.
Yep. And getting three, obviously, if you can get three, like,
But yeah,
good lord.
I don't know. I'm just bad at it. I don't know what it is. I think maybe I'm a little too gung ho in Halo. I don't know what to say, but I feel like I always just like run in. Like I always feel like I have one of the most deaths on my team. I just die way too much. And
It's like you come from like games like COD where sometimes you're aggressive, but in Halo it depends, right? So like if you have like a 1v1 fight and you're like on even terms and you're really close, you kind of have to just run in on them. Otherwise, you're it's not going to work. But like in ranked, you can't just run in on people. Can't just do that. It doesn't work out too well. Because there's BRs, one, and two, there's a certain point where, like, for example, if we're not like when we're not in ranked, I don't care if I'm alone or not. But in ranked, I'll just follow my teammate because
Yeah,
two is way better than one.
yeah,
It's like I don't even know what the exponential on that is, but like two people running together, even if one of them is bad or you're perceived as bad, is so much better than one.
yeah,
Because on a 1v1, it basically just comes down to either who's using the pistol and who can get the better shots off. If you've got assault rifles, just run in melee. BR, it's all down to BR shots and maybe a melee. But with two people, shit, like you could kill somebody and both of you two bursting their head. That's like instant death. So,
yep,
like in Halo, my thing is the buddy system.
yep,
I just go by the buddy system. Even if the other person, whether they're good or bad, it doesn't matter. Because if they hit one shot on the enemy with a BR, that is one less shot that I have to hit.
yeah,
So that's like me 3 round bursting them as opposed to four is a huge deal because I have that extra help. And also it's just nice to have like the opponent maybe has to like can't decide right away. They might like question which back. So I mean like unless they have a rocket, like I just go by the buddy system. You can't go wrong with the buddy system, even if the person's bad. If the person was really bad, like I still wouldn't mind. I would go, okay, I'm still gonna run with this person. Don't know you,
yeah,
I'm still gonna run with you because running with you is a lot better than running with myself. So
yeah,
I think that is like almost a rule of thumb. If especially if you're playing
yeah,
ranked, if you're playing ranked, just run with somebody, even if they're like it obviously like kind of depends on the mode, but like in Slayer in particular, on ranked, just run with somebody, even if they suck. Just run with them. It's just so much better because
yeah,
at least if they're firing on them first, you can get your free shots off. That is the other bonus. Is they're your
yeah,
human UAV. You just you take the shots while they're shooting the. That's that. So buddy system, everybody system. Go buy the buddy system. But in non ranked, I don't even care.
yeah. But with strongholds, my I think strongholds just takes more coordination than some of the
Yes.
other modes. Like the thing that I don't like that happens in strongholds, especially in like pub games or like especially quick match ranked, I think it's a little better. It probably depends on the rank you're at, but like people just play ring around the
Yeah.
rosy. They're
You
like,
can't do that.
my team has A and B. Okay, the other team has C, and they're spawning at C. The whole team just runs to C and kills them and captures C, but then the other team
Yep.
captures A and then captures B while you're freaking ringing around the rosy. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you should just hold A and B and keep them stuck at C and win the game that way instead of going in
Right.
and capturing C and like ring around the rosy. That's not the way you play freaking
No, you don't
strongholds.
play that
Like
way.
you don't need to
No.
three cap. I mean, if you can three cap, you three cap because you get more points that way. But generally, you just want to capture two and hold two and not really worry about the other one or just keep the enemy stuck and spawning at the third point and just
Yeah.
yeah spawn
There.
basically spawn camp them and yeah
No, that's
keep
how
them
you do.
locked down in that
That's
area.
really how you do it. Is you like you try your best to divine spawn camp, but like if the other team's smart though, then they just go as four and like blitz the one side, and then you
One
kind of
of the
have to
two.
But then you swap, so then you basically
But
rotate.
yeah, yeah,
You
then
just
you
rotate.
change. Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's kind of how it works. And like when
Yeah,
I've played with people trying to do ring around the rosy, but like I've also played in ranked where people who go on comms or in chat, they're just like, let's just hold these two. We're just gonna hold these
yep,
two until they take it, and then we'll rotate. There are some
yeah,
maps where A and B are actually really close to each other. There's one map where A and B is really close to each other. I don't remember the name of it, but you're like your
it's
A
recharge.
recharge. What is it called? It's
uh
like kind of outdoors, but there's like an indoor tunnel. There's a tunnel that goes under.
oh, that's live fire.
Live fire. Live fire's A and B is really close to each other, actually. So that A and B is
Yeah,
though
you
B
want to
is hard to defend because it's like there's not a lot of good places to hide in B, but like
yeah,
A is so close
you
that
want
you
to
can
hold you want to hold A and B and on that map like
getting C isn't great. C's like really
Yeah.
far off, it's
I
hard
think
to
it's the
hold
same
that.
I think it's the same thing on streets also. I think
Mm.
you wanna hold A and B, which is the top of the map, and then B, and keep them spawning in C, which is that, like,
That base.
building at the back, like
Yeah. I mean, that's your hope is you try and find the 2 spots that are close, and then you hope to defend those, but even then, you're still gonna have to rotate at some point.
yeah. But yeah,
So
the game we played before, right, I think the last game we played before the stream, I don't maybe no, the last game was Oddball, but anyways, the strongholds we played on the stream before, like
yeah.
I think we ended up winning that game, but man, was that a ring around the like there was
Yep.
one point where like we were dominating them and we had A and B and I was like we should hold I didn't say it, but I was thinking to myself, we should hold A and B and our other two teammates like bum rush C and took C and then like we played ring around the rosy and like we started losing after that
Yeah,
actually
we
because
did.
the other team like respawned, took A and B, and
Yep.
then like it took us a while to like get control back. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we should not have taken C there. That was a mistake.
Yeah. I actually have a game mode complaint that I wish 343 though not every map on Oddball is the same. Live fire on Oddball, for example, if you throw the ball over the side, you should just get a point reduction. You should just get reduced like 5 points or something. Because what people do, which is it's smart, is they go up in this like the tower. It's hard to attack that tower, and then once they get there, they just jump off. And then
Yeah,
all the spawns have come back because everybody died when the person jumped off, and they just reset the ball, and then they just can go get it again. It's a much better position than just giving the ball up and having to like go back and lose points. And the other team games, like nobody gains points. You've reset the ball, and you have an opportunity to fight for it, to contest it in the tunnel. It's you should lose a couple, not like a astronomical amount or anything, but like, come on, man. Like I've done that, and I feel like it's stupid. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna sit up here, and when you come close to me or try to push me, I'm just gonna jump off, and that's it. Reset.
I don't
Just
know.
gonna reset
I,
it.
I I see your complaint, but I think it adds some interesting strategy to the mode, to be
It
honest.
it
But
does, but it like it can become cheesy too, and I don't like that. I don't like that we add some cheese in there. I'm like, okay. And there's other maps too. The reactor one, it's not called reactor, but it's like reaction or something.
recharge.
Recharge, that's it. So recharge has the same thing. You can run over the side, just jump off the edge, and then it resets all the way to the other side. So you're fighting near the other side, one side, and then it resets on the other. Other team spawns over there, they get the advantage. It's not a strategy that I think I like. I don't like it. I
I
don't like
think
the
it's
tactic.
good in like it's not good in fours because I'm sorry, in pubs because you can't coordinate very well with your
Right.
teammates, but in like actual like ranked play like 4v4 teams and you're coordinating like whether you should like play they call it playing the ball, like play ball, um dumping it off the edge or not, and like whether your team is going to be able to, if you dump it off the edge, whether your team's going to be able to respawn and get to it, or if you're just by doing that, you're just giving the ball to the other team basically. So I think there's some communication and strategy there that is interesting. But yeah, in pubs like solo queue, it's just kind of random
Yeah,
and
yeah. There's some
kind
maps
of
that I
free
like
taking.
oddball on like the streets map. Um it's good. Like I like it on that one. There are some good defensible spots for it, but like generally speaking, I still like the map because like you can't just do the throw off the edge strategy. I just don't like that tactic. I just do not. It's like annoying. It's like okay, so like they're just gonna
Yeah,
run to the side and like even in pubs, like some people just do it. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna run up on you and you're immediately gonna jump off after we kill the team, and then I have to run all the way back when you've already respawned. It's like it's kind of at times it feels cheap.
yeah.
And that's what I don't like.
Here, here's my other issue with Halo multiplayer right now, and it's the map pool. Um, there's technically 10 maps. 3 of them are big team battle maps. There's 5 regular like arena maps, 4v4
Yes.
maps.
Yes.
And then there's 2 like kind of in between maps. They're a little bigger,
Yep.
but they're in the quick play modes
Yep. I know what
and
you're talking about.
they are Behemoth and Launch Site. And fuck both of those maps. They both suck my balls.
Launch site is the worst map. Uh,
I agree.
Behemoth I can tolerate occasionally.
I can
I can't
tolerate
tolerate launch site.
arena. I can tolerate behemoth in ranked actually because
Yes.
it's only capture the flag. The snipers spawn on both just sides of the map, the bases, and there's no vehicles. in ranked.
Yeah. So
And you
it's
start with a BR, which is a ranged weapon, so everyone has a freaking ranged weapon for
right.
that super like big like open sight lines. I could tolerate it in ranked,
Yeah.
but anything else, I hate that map. But I
Yeah.
still agree with you. Launch site, I hate launch site more. That's the worst map.
Launch side's just
Um,
bad in everything. Like there's in one flag, again, it's kind of tolerable, but it's just bad everywhere else. It should own like it's so weird. It's a weird map. It's like the map is not a semicircle. It's like almost a three-quarter circle like this. This part isn't even used, and the middle is empty. And you've just got this
yeah,
three-quarter circle around, and like one side spawns vehicles because it's supposed to be the attacking side, and the other side gets like either a sniper or a rocket, which is great for that side
it's a
because they're trying to
sniper
defend.
or it's a sniper or a skewer.
Oh, is it skewer? Okay, sorry, skewer.
Yeah,
But then the other side gets cinder shot or rocket.
the rocket spawns on the attacking side
Yeah, the
actually in
rocket gets the
cinder shot
attacking
or
side.
rocket.
Um, it's like it's designed for one flag. It's specifically designed for a one flag
Yeah,
defense situation. But
like if
it can
yeah,
get Slayer,
Slayer should not exist on that map. Like
and
it's just bad.
Slayer
Like
sucks in the map. SWAT also is not great on that map. I don't like SWAT on that.
Fiesta is even worse
Oh,
because the
Fiesta's
vehicle
horrible.
spawns are random and you get like wasps and banshees and
Yep,
it's like okay.
cool. He's like, yeah,
and
great.
and
Wasp.
Scorpion tank and Wraith tank. That's like okay, cool. Like this is dumb.
So you're just like kind of at the mercy launch site of first off a map specifically designed for one flag CTF, and you have to deal with it for other modes that just it's not designed for. It's not designed for these modes, but
Yeah.
it has to be used for those because like they're like, oh, we got this map, we better put it in the pool for other stuff too because we don't want it to just be a one flag CTF map. It's like, well, or you could just keep it that way, just leave it as a one flag CTF.
Or you could just take
But
it out of the pool because the map sucks
well,
ass.
they're not
But
going to do that because they don't have enough maps at this
I
point.
know.
But they need when they add more maps, they should just dedicate it to one flag CTF eventually.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah. So for and for yeah for ranked, there's the one Behemoth only shows up as capture the flag
yep,
on Behemoth, and then launch site isn't in ranked at all. And then you have the other 5 that are actually 4v4 maps that are in
that'll get a
ranked.
rotation of like oddball, CTF,
Yeah,
Slayers, all
and
that stuff, and
strongholds.
strongholds. Yep.
Yeah.
Like
So this is like
Aquarius gets like CTF
so
and Slayer
really
in that.
there are only 5 maps that people like and want to play. And the HCS with the esports scene doesn't use
Behemoth or launch
Behemoth
site.
Behemoth on the launch site.
Yeah, because they're
So
bad
they only
maps.
they only have 5 maps.
Yep.
They need more like we need more maps. Like
We need
I'm
like two.
sorry.
We need like two more, 2 or 3 more. Two
Like
is okay.
I think hopefully when like I don't know when they're planning on adding more maps, but hopefully when the very latest when season 2 comes out in May, we get at least like 2 more arena maps and maybe another big team map for people who like that. I don't know.
Well,
Like
they need to fix Big Team first. Big Team is
yeah, like,
fundamentally broken.
obviously.
It needs to be fixed. Then think about a map. But yeah, they need like 2 more maps for
Yeah.
more maps would be nice. Just like launch site should just be a quick play one flag CTF. Just put it in there.
I mean,
Let people
it
occasionally get
wasn't
it.
I just wish it wasn't in there at all cuz I hate it,
Well,
but
somebody designed it and they're keeping it there, so
yeah,
it would be it would like they're not just gonna get rid of it. I imagine unless they added like a bunch more maps. Like, okay, let's get it out now. Um, I don't actually mind Behemoth. So I think Behemoth is fine on even on like other modes. I tolerate it because I'm like okay,
I
like there's
I hate the
vehicles, there's
vehicles.
stuff,
The
but
thing is it's kind of like there's no parity on that map. It's either like if your team gets control of like the power weapons and the long range weapons and the vehicles, you dominate that map. And if you don't, you start with your assault rifle and pistol, you're fucked because those weapons aren't particularly effective on that map because there's a lot of long sight lines.
well that's because everybody goes on the sides outside. Nobody
Yeah,
uses the tunnels in
yeah,
SWAT. If you use the tunnels in SWAT, you'll do well because nobody uses the tunnels. Nobody
Yeah.
goes underground. Everybody does the same
I mean,
goddamn thing. They just go, oh, let's go to the sides or behind the rocks over here. But what you do is you go and use the tunnel system. And anytime they're trying to hide back there, you pop out, you shoot them, and you run back into the tunnels. And nobody does it. I'm the only
yeah.
person that I've seen do it because it's safer. One, there's no sight lines. It's like there's one straight through the tunnel, and two, nobody expects it. Nobody expects you to go down there in SWAT. I
Yeah. I think I played one SWAT game on that, maybe two on that map.
yeah,
I use the tunnels a little bit, but like if you die, like you can get spawn camped on that map,
you
or
can.
not literally spawn camp, but you can like spawn in people's sight. Like, you can die, respawn, and literally someone's looking at you and one taps you as soon as you spawn again. It's like, okay,
You
cool.
can. You can. That's true. Um, but like I said, like I don't know. There's some things like launch site. There's no redemption for it. No redemption for that map. I just don't like it. Behemoth, I think it can work if you're playing differently than everybody else, and you recognize
Yeah.
that everybody does the same thing every single time, and you just do something different that they're not expecting, and then they're like they get confused, and then they start getting confused and look down there, and they're paying less attention to your other teammates who are doing the normal thing. Like it's a nice like flank misdirect strategy that
Mhm.
most people
No,
don't do.
yeah, I agree with you. I think there is fun to be had on Behemoth launch site. There is almost
No,
no
there's
fun
nothing.
to be had.
There's
Like,
nothing. The launch site is just a. There's a
there are times where in quick play I got launch site. I saw the map launch site showed up. I
you
just
just
left the
left,
game.
yeah.
I was like, I'm not playing that. I'm not,
There's
like I'm in a bad mood right now. I don't feel like playing this. I'm leaving this
oh
game.
yeah,
I'm
it's
not
like and
gonna
there's no
play this
strike
stupid map.
against you for
Like,
I
yeah,
mean like obviously if you were like you can't get in ranked anyway. Like there's no strike against you, like whatever. Um
yeah.
so what else was
People have complaints about the ranked system. We talked about this a little bit. It's a little too top heavy, first of all, and there's too much emphasis put on your personal performance as opposed to winning the game. Like,
yeah, so here's how it's worked in my experience, and I'm sure you can echo the same thing. Basically, here's what can happen. Best case scenario, win and you perform well. Well as in you're above 1 KDA. Maybe you're at like 1.5. That I would consider is well. Because in KDA meaning like you have like let's say you have 13 kills, 10 deaths, and 5 assists. That's a good game to
yeah,
me. That is a good game.
that's a good game.
It's a good game. So that's like obviously there's better, but that's a good game. So Halo says, okay, you had a good game, you won the game, we give you lots of points. It also will consider your opponent's rank. So if you're playing against opponents that are just higher rank than you, higher standing, do all those things, it's going to give you a bigger boost. Before I got at the end of Plat, I was playing against people in mid diamond. So it was giving me massive boosts because I was winning games and I would either do okay or I would do really well. Really well as in 13, 10, 5. Okay. So Halo says, good job. You're beating players that are above your rank. You're doing pretty well or you're okay. Here's a boost. If you lose the game, but you perform well, as in 13, 10, 5, Halo says, wash. Try again.
Yeah, you maybe lose a little bit or lose almost nothing. Like,
And it depends on the MMR of your opponent. If your opponent is at your level lower, you will lose rank. If they are above you, Halo says, maybe we'll give you a tiny bit, but we're not going to give you more. We're gonna keep you here. If you perform poorly and lose, and the MMR is somewhat equal or lower, you're gonna get hit hard. Um, Basically, all you're trying to do, to some extent, besides winning the game, is you need to mitigate your death count somehow. You need to reduce it. So the best case, because like think about it. If let's say you're on Slayer, 50 kills to win, right? So both teams, your goal as a player should be I want to get, assuming it's a close game at the end, I want to get maybe 12 to 13 kills. I want to die about 9 to 10 times, and I want to get about 5
well,
assists. That's actually your goal.
die less than 10, like 10 or less. Like,
Yeah, like if you're dying less than 10, that's great. But your goal is to get about 13 kills. If you get like 12 to 13, you're great. if you get 10 kills, you should hope to get less than 10 deaths, obviously. But if you get 10 kills and get like a ton of assists, Halo's going to recognize that, hey, you're being active and you're doing things
Yeah, assists
proactively.
count for a third of a kill
Yeah,
in their thing. So if you get 3 assists, that counts like for a kill in terms of your ratio.
right. So Halo recognized that. I think one thing that Halo uh, needs to work on a little bit is one, it is too top heavy. I don't think I'm actually a diamond level if we're looking at rankings that way. I feel like that's a little bit high. And I was also a little bit irked at how quickly I got there. I went from plat 2 to diamond 1 really fast. So part of me was like, okay, that felt a little too fast, and I feel like there are some players in diamond that maybe shouldn't. So that bothered me a little bit. I was like, okay, maybe Halo's being too generous when you're winning and doing well sometimes. Maybe they're being
Yeah.
generous. Um, on the flip side, your brother has had struggles where his teammates have been god awful. Halo should recognize that when your teammates are god awful and you perform pretty well, you should get some kind of benefit from that, I think. Even though you didn't necessarily win, or like maybe you like barely lost, and like Halo should have a better idea of recognizing, look, you performed well, your teammates were horrible, and that happens. So we're gonna give you like some benefit
I
for that.
mean,
We're not gonna reduce your rank at all. Well, and maybe we'll give you a couple bonus points because look, like you were the dominant player in that game.
I
So
haven't seen a ranking system that does that well at all,
yeah,
ever.
yeah,
That
that's true.
like takes into account how well your teammates did, or if you had like people disconnect on your team.
Right.
Like it's just like it doesn't care if you like lost and you know did poorly or only did okay, then you're gonna get hit.
Yeah.
Like
So but yeah, I think the ranking system as it stands is too top heavy. I agree with you.
there is like all I saw a bell curve of what the ranks looked like at one point a couple of weeks ago, I think. There is almost nobody in bronze. It's like 1%, like 1 to 2% of the population is in bronze. It's so little.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
And
what was the
silver
bell
is
curve?
like
So bronze is obviously down here, and
bronze
then
was like little bit, silver started climbing a little bit, maybe it's like 10 to 15, and then
okay,
like gold and plat were huge. Like the middle of the bell curve was like high gold, low plat was the middle of the bell curve, and then it's kind of going down, but there was a big spike in diamond 1, and then it like goes down, and like basically the high ranks like diamond especially has too many players in it.
yeah,
I think even like plat they just need to like shift it down a little bit and just populate the lower ranks a little bit more, at
yeah,
least. Like obviously you don't want too many people in bronze, it's the lowest rank, but like I there needs to be more people in bronze, some more people in silver,
what's the
and
sorry
probably
sorry
more people in gold and a few less in
can
plat,
I
but
ask what was the percentage up to the plat where you said it like started to go up here? What is that percentage? Because
I
bronze is 1, silver's 15 to 20, so that's 21%. So gold, I would imagine gold would be another like 20%, and plat's another 20%, right? So that's 61 up to there. So diamond and onyx makes the other 39%, is what that would be. Which is still too high. Like diamond and onyx should not be that high of a percentage to me. Diamond and onyx should account for about 10%, maybe 50 with diamond. But like,
I'm gonna DM you
yeah,
this
yeah, 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 yeah.
article.
Put it in the chat actually. That way we can all look at it because I can't change Discord right now. But like, yeah, let me take a look here. So rank distribution. So basically, percent of players. Bronze is 2% here. Silver's 10. Gold is 30. Platinum is 34. So that accounts for 70, almost 77% right there. Okay, so that's what I'm reading. About 77% are those ranks. Is that fair? I think that math is almost correct, given a 0.1%.
What, between gold and
Between
platinum?
bronze and platinum is 71%. That is what
Oh,
I'm reading.
yeah, that's
Okay.
about right.
Okay, that's fair. So Diamond 1 is a massive percentage of Diamond, which I think is fair because people are going to be on that fringe of Plat 6 and Diamond 1
Well, people also like they'll do something like, "Oh, I just want to get diamond," and they'll get to diamond 1 and then stop, and they
and then
like don't
stop.
play ranked. They don't play
Yeah,
ranked.
which is where I'm currently at, but I do want to keep playing. Diamond is 18.5%,
That's way too big. That is way too big.
which accounts for up to so what did I say before it was at? I said it was at like 75% up to there basically. Um
65.
so
It's
then
like 78 or so between bronze to platinum,
okay,
and then yeah, 18
Onyx is
for
5%, half
diamond,
almost
and then
5%.
onyx is 4. It's 4.1, so
Yeah.
it's 4.
So diamond. So here's what I think it should be. I'm thinking bronze should be like honestly 5%. I think it. If we're just looking at this
Oh yeah,
logically.
like at the very least, the top and the bottom of this curve need to be flipped. Like bronze should be 4% and onyx should be 2. And then like same with like diamond and silver need to be flipped, or like silver's like 20 and
Right.
diamond's maybe 10. Like
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. I think diamond is too big. I'm actually
diamond is
I'm okay with plat being that big though. I'm kind of okay with plat
yeah,
being that
like
big.
the like plat and gold like or the middle, those should be the two biggest ranks. Like that makes sense, but
Diamond being the problem is diamond 1. I think what should happen is when people get to Diamond 1, there should be a countdown, basically. It says, look, if you don't play in the next time period, you will get downgraded. Because I think that's the issue you talked about. I think that's it, actually. Is people get to Diamond and just stop.
I mean, it
So,
says there's like 5-ish%, 5 or 6% from what I can see in Diamond 1, which is pretty big, but like, I don't think Diamond should be any more than 10%, to be honest.
yeah,
Like,
I'm with you. I think Diamond should be about 10%. And then Onyx, honestly, Onyx being 4%, I'm not really like upset at that because that
mm,
most of
I,
that percentage is up to 1500. It's going up to 1500 Onyx. So like, and then after that, it's like increments of 50. So if you look at that, like that massive percentage is just that first
yeah, I
1500.
think maybe it should just be like, I think Onyx should be like 1 or 2%. Like, I think 4 is a little too much
Mm.
for me, but like,
Yeah, who knows? I think like if it was like, oh, that's open queue. So duo controller.
yeah, it's like even
Oh,
Diamond is
solo
30
duo
fucking percent.
30%.
Yeah, and bronze is under one
And then
1%.
solo
Silver's only
duo mouse
5.
keyboard
Like,
is 30% done. That's gross. Yeah. So mouse and keyboard threw everybody into plat and then just okay. Okay. Seems like OpenQ is the closest to what it should be, and the other two are kind of messed up right now. They said the median competitive skill rank should be platinum 1. That's what 343 said. Okay. Anyway, so okay, yeah, that's a problem. That should be changed. Something about that needs to change next season. Don't change it now. Next season, change it. Next season, change it because
yeah.
I think maybe part of it should be like your entry point. So my entry point was Plat 2, and I think that was Ghosts as well. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
what yours was.
placed I placed gold 5.
Okay, your entry point that's still a high
I
entry point.
haven't I haven't played much ranked since I placed. I'm like close to gold 6.
Okay,
I played a couple of games. One game I played, I did really well and we won. I got like half a level
yeah,
for that one game. Like,
yeah, that's what happens. Is like when I went on a 7 game win streak, it was crazy how like it was insane. So yeah, I'm just thinking. So like basically, people place like super high into plateau, and then like at that point, like I said, it was pretty quick to get to diamond. So like yeah, like I can see diamond being a massive percentage because it's quick to get there. It
like
is.
here's what I think like maybe it should be. Bronze is like 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make um yeah, bronze is 5%,
Yep.
silver is maybe 20.
Mm-hmm.
Um gold and plat are like
Gold and plat have got to be like 60% at that point.
No,
Probably
at least
60
no.
percent.
I'm thinking like 60 to 70% is like gold and plat,
Right.
and then that what are we're at 25, right? So if I do like 65% between gold and plat, that
90.
means leaves me the top 10%, and that's like, you know, 8 or 9% diamond, and then the last 1 or 2% is onyx. Like
Yep.
that's how I think it should be.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't disagree. It's fair.
And again, that's just like no numbers, just kind of off the top of my head, what seems kind of reasonable
The,
for me.
what
Like,
should be reasonable is gold and plat, based on what they've just said, should be the biggest percentages. That should be a
yeah,
massive percentage.
for sure. And it is that way right now. But for the most part, maybe
But diamond is
no,
creeping
no,
way too
no, yeah,
far.
yeah, especially in like solo duo controller and mouse and keyboard, diamond is way too like diamond is bigger than gold in some of those, and that's not okay.
That's
Like,
insane. No, that's insane. That shouldn't be that. So I'm like, yeah,
yeah, like gold and plat should be like around 30 to 35% each, something like that. And then yeah, like diamond should be like top 10%, and then
yeah.
onyx is like, 2%, maybe less than 1%.
I
Like,
think next season this will adjust. Next season they'll adjust it.
it's just a little too top heavy again on the if from what we're looking at on this, if they flipped the chart around for the open queue one, at least I'd be kind of okay with it. Like,
Yeah,
it still wouldn't be perfect, but it'd be like, okay, there's like 5% in bronze, there's 18.5% in silver, 35% in gold, 30% in plat, and then like 10% in diamond and 10% and 2% in onyx.
yeah,
Onyx. Like, that's kind of reasonable to me if they flipped it around. But the low ranks are hardly populated at
right,
all, and there's too many people in the top two ranks, so
right.
that's kind of my issue.
Yeah, no. I agree with you. I think diamond's way too big. Open queue diamond is obviously reasonable, but having 30% of your player base in diamond a solo group,
Kind of
yeah,
stupid.
that's a little suspect. They need to fix that.
And you're having under 1% in bronze and like under 5% in silver, and it's like, okay,
I don't really get that. Yeah, I think that needs to be adjusted. I think it part of it is the fact that so many people are in Diamond One because they just get there and stop. I don't know if there's any depreciation rank. If not, there
yeah, I don't
should
know.
be because I think like doesn't League do depreciation? Like if you don't play for a while,
Yeah,
they just depreciate
they
your
do.
account. So there needs to be depreciation. Number one, you should have to play at least not like once every day. Maybe every week you have to get a certain number of games in. If you don't, you get depreciated a level. As in, like your diamond one, now you go to plat six, something like that. Obviously, could be different. Um, so yeah, I'm with you. It's the bell curve's a little bit off there, but I think the open queue was the most reasonable. Honestly, the open
Yeah,
queue could have been a possible like outcome considering it's season one or however you want to put it. Um, that would be okay because then like that can be manageably fixed like really easily. The duo solo one is really off. So that one I'm interested to see how they adjust for that. But they're not going to do it this season, they'll do it next season. And I do
yeah.
think they should. I like I said, I'm a little bit like surprised at the percent there. So anyway, wow, we um any other final Halo thoughts before we start closing things down? We'll save the I think we should save the discussion on upcoming games and other games when you come back for your trip. We'll table it and save it then,
Yep.
and we'll like have we'll put something together. Any other final Halo thoughts though?
Nope. I think that's good.
Yep. Well, the infinite multiplayer is free. I think the campaign is good. I mean, like obviously, if your system can run it, I think it's really fun. Yeah, it's definitely not perfect, obviously, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, let's close down here. Um, Thanks everybody for hanging out and watching, and we're glad to put this together between the hiatus from the holidays and such. We'll have another week long hiatus. Next week, though, I might pop the stream up unofficially, not like a podcast episode, but maybe we'll do something as a group together. We'll do some games like we've been before. In the meantime, I'll also put this VOD up on YouTube again. We've missed several episodes up there, so we'll have this nice little gap of episodes from like 40s to now we're at 51. So hopefully you check that out. We'll be doing that again. And um and yeah, thanks everybody for watching. And Spoon, any final thoughts before we stop the stream?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I think that'll do it. So keep an eye out for the VOD on Twitter and in Discord. And also for next week, if anybody has any games they want to play with particular that I have and can play multiplayer, please let me know in the Discord. Um, Examples being Halo, but also I know Try likes Age of Empires. That's an option. We haven't played like Civ or Humankind in a while. At some point, we should pop that up and try it again. Um, I haven't. I should reinstall Humankind. Actually, I'm thinking of doing that.
I played a game of it like a couple of weeks ago. Again, it doesn't run very well on my desktop. It runs better on my laptop, not that much better,
Yeah,
but
I just
um
haven't played since any of the patches, so I'm super curious to try and download it and in the meantime. But yeah, like if anybody wants to play anything multiplayer based that we haven't done, like Back for Blood, for example, we may get some Back for Blood again at some point. Some one of us hectic couldn't play, but he's all good. So anyway, let me know in the Discord server, please. I'd appreciate it if you're interested. If not, I'll just do whatever. So okay, thanks everyone, and Spoon, I'll see you later, bud.
yep. Good night, everybody.
Night.